Who is the dark power behind the Israeli war? Greetings, esteemed comrades. The ongoing conflict in Israel, which started 3 days ago, has resulted in a significant loss of life, with hundreds of individuals tragically losing their lives. The Palestinian Hamas organization, situated in Gaza, initiated a comprehensive assault, including the deployment of several missiles and explosives, followed by further attacks. Greetings and welcome to the present video presentation, wherein we will delve into the subject matter at hand. Who is the dark power behind the Israeli war? Prior to proceeding, it is essential to subscribe to my channel and activate the notification bell icon in order to get timely alerts whenever a new video is uploaded. If you find this video enjoyable, kindly express your appreciation by giving it a positive rating and sharing it with your acquaintances. Let us proceed to explore more details. The act of infiltrating Exxon by terrestrial means, which encompasses breaching the border barrier and afterwards proceeding towards the sea, or alternatively using aerial parachuting techniques to catch Israel off guard, resulted in Israel responding with unwavering severity and exhibiting no mercy. In addition to their comparatively diminished capabilities, they have concentrated their efforts on using aerial vehicles to deploy substantial quantities of explosives into Hamas military installations. According to reports, Israeli pilots are purportedly engaged in continuous aerial operations, with the objective of neutralizing all identified Hamas sites. The magnitude of human casualties is substantial, with a fraction of those affected being those who are innocent. Moreover, a minuscule fraction comprises innocent youngsters. I have observed in several interviews, the Palestinian population expressed astonishment. Prior to the occurrence of the Israeli aerial bombardment, a considerable number of individuals were unaware of the Hamas organization's intention to launch an assault on Israel. Consequently, several individuals held the belief that such an act of aggression against Israel was characterized by an excessive degree of recklessness. What is the underlying motivation behind the recent offensive launched by the Palestinian Hamas organization against Israel? And what are the objectives they want to achieve by this act of aggression? Based on empirical investigation, it has been identified that there exist 3 primary rationales, which may be categorized as 3 distinct hypotheses. Alternatively, the purpose for the assault might perhaps arise from a confluence of the aforementioned 3 ideas. The primary objective pursued by Hamas is to seek retribution for the pre-war dominance and extensive influence exerted by Israel on the Palestinian population. It is evident that Israel has been accused of transforming the Gaza Strip into what is often referred to as an open-air jail, so exerting a detrimental influence on the region. The topic of discussion is the Gaza blockade. The blockade imposed by Israel, together with its tactical strikes, has had a significant impact on the infrastructure and prevailing circumstances inside the country. The quality of life in Gaza deteriorates with each instance of Hamas launching strikes against Israel. Israel has implemented another embargo on Gaza, so restricting the local population's access to essential resources including as power, food, and fuel. Consequently, the severity of the situation exacerbates as the embargo intensifies. There was a state of tension, but it was not only limited to that. According to reports, the Holy Mosque of the Palestinians was allegedly subjected to an assault by Israeli troops during the religious observance of Ramadan. The incident included the use of force on worshippers, including those from vulnerable demographics such as women and the elderly. In addition to the aforementioned point, it is noteworthy to highlight the incumbent president of Israel, who is said to possess a fervent aspiration for territorial expansion of Israel. This inclination is evident in his unabashed public declarations, expressing the desire to incorporate the West Bank, which is recognized as the Palestinian territory, into the State of Israel. The individual holding the position of Minister of Security is responsible for overseeing matters pertaining to national security and ensuring the safety and protection of the country and its citizens. The Israeli government's national security apparatus has made a public declaration about the planned growth of Israeli settlements in the West Bank, with a projected increase of up to 5,000 settlements. It is well acknowledged that the Israeli government is now occupying Palestinian property. a fact that the minister takes great pride in. However, it is important to note that these settlements are in clear violation of international law, leading to condemnation of Israel's actions by the United States. The first factor that contributes to heightened aggression among Palestinians, particularly those affiliated with Hamas, is their propensity to engage in attacks against Israel without hesitation. One motivation for seeking retribution is the perceived need to retaliate. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that there is an additional significant factor at play, namely Israel's involvement in a bilateral arrangement with Saudi Arabia. It is worth noting that the Arab Kakura Federation has been embroiled in long-standing battles. In 1973, Israel formed an alliance in an attempt to combat the Israeli Council, but their efforts proved unsuccessful. Consequently, a long-standing conflict between these two sides has persisted, although with a noticeable decrease in intensity in recent times. In the year 2020, a pact was struck between Israel and many Arab nations. The pact in question is often referred to as the Abraham Pact. The treaty has provisions that promote peaceful coexistence and foster collaboration among countries in order to facilitate the development of Israel. Particularly noteworthy within this pact is a specific provision that captures my admiration. A phrase explicitly expressing the shared objective of eradicating radicalization and war, with the ultimate aim of securing a more promising future for all children. In a peace treaty, there is a notable emphasis placed on a certain language, pertaining to the prioritization of objectives, in consideration of the well-being and prospects of children. It is well acknowledged that conflicts and wars have detrimentally impacted their future. However, it is widely believed that the restoration of a positive future for children may be achieved by the establishment of peaceful coexistence among all parties involved. I am quite pleased to report that the aforementioned pact has been successfully ratified inside the United States, owing to the significant influence exerted by the nation. Moreover, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is on the verge of finalizing a bilateral agreement with Israel to formally acknowledge the existence of the latter and establish diplomatic ties. This development signifies a shift from hostility to cooperation, primarily driven by the substantial economic advantages that such a partnership would yield for Saudi Arabia. In response to a potential Hamas assault, Saudi Arabia reportedly communicated to the White House its willingness to augment oil production as a means to bolster its defenses. It is indeed accurate that the White House has been engaged in a 2-year pursuit. However, in order to effectively achieve the deal with Saudi Arabia, the United States must demonstrate a commitment to constructing a civil nuclear energy facility for Saudi Arabia, while also necessitating Israel's relinquishment of a portion, the allocation of land for the Palestinian population. In broad terms, this agreement has several contentious aspects that pose challenges for all parties involved. However, there is a shared willingness to engage in negotiations with the aim of achieving a consensus. Should Saudi Arabia formally establish reconciliation with and recognition of Israel, it is quite probable that other Arab nations would follow suit. The issue at hand pertains to the preferences of Hamas and the Palestinian population, since the recognition of Israel would result in diminished benefits. If one were to approach the adversary in such a manner, it is likely that the Palestinian population would experience a sense of isolation. Contrarily, Israel's might will be bolstered as it finds itself encircled by amicable nations. During that period, it is anticipated that Palestine will be in a subordinate position relative to Israel. As a result of this, Hamas has made concerted efforts to impede it, thwart the intended compromise between Israel and Saudi Arabia. The next event, scheduled to occur in a few days, has been orchestrated by Hamas in order to preemptively deter any potential attacks by Hamas. During the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the interwar conflict, the potential alliance between Arab countries and Israel has prompted speculation that Hamas may seek to use this development as a means to incite animosity among Arab nations. Nevertheless, President Biden of the United States continues to advocate for Israel to expeditiously achieve a resolution with the Arab nations. Despite the ongoing conflict, the potential for Israel and Arab Saudi to reconcile and collaborate under ongoing conflict and unfavorable circumstances remains uncertain and requires more observation. Another explanation posits that Hamas's motivation for launching hundreds of missiles against Israel might be attributed to a certain factor. According to an article in the Van on Middle East Affairs, Mr. Ayan said that Iranian officials assert that Israel and the United States embody immorality and injustice, posing the most significant danger to Muslim society and security. The Iranian security apparatus has harbored a deep-seated animosity against Israel, largely influenced by the country's strong association with the Shah, and Israel's involvement in perpetuating the continued oppression of the Iranian populace. In summary, Iran refrains from assigning responsibility. The premise of this conflict suggests that Israel, America, and Iran are engaged in a joint military effort. Iran's purported support for Hamas and Hezbollah has been a long-standing claim that spans many decades. During the beginning of the Israeli conflict, Iran was purportedly aligned with one of the parties involved. The term regime refers to a system or form of government that is in power. Regardless of the extent of damage inflicted against Hamas or Israel, victory is achieved. The potential consequence of Israel's robust reaction is that it may hinder the willingness of Saudi Arabia and other Arab nations to embrace initiatives aimed at normalizing ties with Israel. Furthermore, in the event that Israel deems it imperative to advance farther into the Gaza Strip with the aim of eradicating the perceived danger, such action has the potential to incite a subsequent revolt among Palestinians in East Jerusalem or the West Bank, so triggering a more extensive response from the Palestinian population. The topic of Israel and its impact on greater instability is a subject of academic interest and analysis. The geopolitical dynamics surrounding Israel have been a significant factor in the region's overall stability and security. Various scholars and researchers ultimately, even if Israel manages to accomplish the first two objectives with little repercussions, the fundamental issue that precipitated the Israel-Palestine conflict war persists to this day. Israel consistently faces adversaries, leading observers to posit that regardless of the outcome, Iran emerges as the ultimate beneficiary. Consequently, it is believed that Iran instigated Hamas to initiate the ongoing conflict. Hamas engages in conflict for a singular objective. However, it is plausible that this purpose encompasses all three possibilities. Regardless of the circumstances, the visual representations that elicit the most emotional response from individuals inside the media sphere continue to be those of dilapidated residences and distressed youngsters mourning the loss of their parental figures. Certain infants are deprived of the opportunity to assume a seated position and vocalize their distress. The sentiment expressed by many individuals is that the prevalence of wars creates a sense of distance and disconnection. Consequently, it is hoped that the cessation of all armed conflicts would enable children around the globe to experience a state of tranquility, fostering an improved trajectory for their future. The abbreviation AM is commonly used to denote the time period from midnight to noon. It is anticipated that such a scenario will occur. We express our gratitude for your viewership of the video. Bye and have a nice day.